What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. I don't know why my voice is quiet right now. Maybe it's because it's my first video. I'll wake up in just a moment. But here we are at about $82.8 thousand now. I have recently flipped bearish on Bitcoin, right? And because I think that the price is going to go lower, I am back on the wagon with this 72 to 73K target area, and I want to talk about that first a little bit. I guess I want to get into that, right? Beforehand, right, I was flipping bearish over here. I flipped bullish at this bull flag, and the reason why I flipped bullish is not because of this move up, right? The move up did not have me bullish. In fact, I was very bearish. I actually made a video right here, confident that we would go down, like literally right at the tip of this, right? So I was even bearish here, but whenever I woke up the next day and we were still in this like flag formation on the 4-hour time frame, on the 1-hour time frame, it looked pretty good, and we were holding support at an area of prior resistance. I thought that we would just reject down here. I thought this was some kind of fake out breath above this area of resistance here, but it was looking real. So gotta change with the data. A bullish pattern right here, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we do break out to the upside. Retrospectively, bull patterns don't they're less likely to break bullish if you're in a downtrend, being that that's a 1 hour, a 4-hour bull flag, and we are definitely in a downtrend in the 1 hour and 4-hour time frame. There's less of a chance that we would have broken higher. But whenever we made this move down, again, it's not the move down. I'm not like emotionally invested in this, right? I'm not emotionally charged by a move like this, but just critically thinking here, logically thinking, whenever you break through something like this, if it's a bull flag, if it's a bullish pattern, you break through it, you wick up, you find a double top, you're now finding resistance at prior areas of support, prior areas of resistance and support back here and resistance, like that tells me that we should probably change our mind again. And it's okay to change your mind. The mark of a good trader, of a sophisticated trader, is someone who's willing to change their mind as the data changes. The mark of a novice, of a beginner, is somebody who thinks you need to be convicted in your plays blindly, right? Through like blind faith, no matter what, until the end, until you get the lower low, you are not convinced that it's going. No. You need to be able to flow with it, right? Good traders, and I've never claimed to be a good trader, right? I think I'm a good investor, speculator. I'm a chart monkey extraordinaire, right? But I don't really trade too often, right? I try not to, at least. But good traders out there, again, which I've never claimed to be, good traders, they are able to flow with the data. If you can't flow with the data, if you're one of those people who gets upset or confused, or even the trolls that like to poke fun at someone who flips their decision, sometimes within a day, sometimes within a 2-day period, then that just tells me everything I need to know, right? You're probably new to the markets, you don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. That's totally fine. That's why you guys come here, right? Because a lot of you probably don't know what you're doing, and that's fine, right? But if you start making fun of somebody who does know what they're doing, just pay attention, because you'll learn in time, soon enough, that the way to do this stuff is to flow, right? If you stick with your convictions to the end, even whenever the data is in your face saying that we're going lower, you're going to get wrecked. Now on that note alone, we could go higher. We absolutely could go higher if we broke above like 84.7K on that 4-hour close, on this daily closing high here, some of these wicking lows, that point of resistance there, this point of support. If we can get above there, I would assume that would allow us to grow higher, and we could grow higher. It is very possible that we could grow higher still from here, and then still go lower, right? Just because we go up to something at like $90,000 doesn't mean that we're absolved yet of going lower, right? We're still in this lower high trend, and that's fine. I would flip bullish again short term if we got above about 84.6, $84.8 thousand on a daily basis or a 4-hour closing basis, right? Likely that would just enable me to be bullish up until about 90K and maybe higher, right? What would convince me that assuming prices lower than this are invalid would be if we closed above $91,000, right? 91,000, where is it here? 91,000 is right here above this daily high close, right at these areas of support. We'd be breaking back into this range. And if that doesn't do it for you, if you're somebody who's in denial even at that point, if we're closing above 91K and you're like, no, man, we're still going lower, it's inevitable, okay, fine. At least accept then that if we were to come, can we at least agree that if you were to come all the way back up to the breakout point at about 96,500, that would at least validate this as a low? So whether you're a perma bull and you get excited at any movement up, just because we get above this line doesn't mean we're going through the roof, doesn't mean the low is in. It could mean it, and it would be exciting enough to get you up to these areas, but you might just find resistance still, right? If you do get above these areas, not only are you finding breaking through a horizontal line of resistance, but you're also breaking through the downtrend here. Okay, so that would be good. That would validate to me that the slow is in. And then if you're a perma bear, right? This is, I think, perma bull getting hyped up, perma bears in denial, right? And then just rational people accepting the data for what it is, saying, hey, we're probably going to go higher at this point. At least that's what I think. And maybe I'm biased. I don't know, because that's just my opinion there. But even if you're a perma bear, if you're in denial that this is the low, even at this point, if we're at $96,500 or higher, at that point you really can't tell me that we're bearish anymore, right? We've given back the breakout move. We're looking to go higher. At that point, we'll be going to new all-time highs. Again, I don't expect this to happen before going lower. I do expect that we're going to go lower and see prices below this low. The reason why we're talking about this is because if I'm doing something today, if I'm doing something between my videos and we see prices above 84.7, 84.8K, this way kind of what to expect, right? It's possible that we could just go up here and then come back down, but likely if we close 4-hour periods or a daily period above here, we would continue to go higher. Likely we would, and I would change bullish again momentarily at least, right? I wouldn't be completely convinced that this is the low yet, but I might be excited. I might be excited for it, but it's okay to change your opinion with the data, right? It's okay if you miss the little moves, just don't miss the big moves, right? That's kind of the main point. $83,000. And nobody's perfect. Here's another thing, right? Technical analysis, for anybody out there that thinks technical analysis is like this thing that you rub a magic crystal ball and you know the future and you're perfect every single time, you're going to get wrecked, right? And you're probably going to think it doesn't work at that rate, because that's not technical. That's not what technical analysis is. It's meant to give you an edge. It's meant to give you a statistical probability that you will start winning and making better decisions for yourself, rather than just gambling blindly in the dark, putting money into places without even knowing if it's at a proper area to buy or sell. Technical analysis is to give you an edge, and by that definition alone, it is imperfect. That's the whole thing. It is imperfect. It will not be perfect every single time, and because of that, you will be wrong. So if you have a problem with being wrong in this space, you're going to have a problem with TA. I'm just telling you, man. It's even the best traders out there are wrong from time to time. They have hot streaks, dry streaks. What makes them good traders is not being right more often than they're wrong, although most good traders are right more often than they're wrong. It's risk management, not setting yourself up for failure, being able to flow with the data and not just marrying whatever idea you come across as if it's fact, because you never know. And there should be invalidation levels to every kind of thing that you talk about. But I digress, man. Let's get on with our bad selves. Okay, here we are on the 4-hour time frame, picking up volume a little bit, but not really going anywhere. So I guess that's not really telling us anything. 4-hour RSI looking a little bit bearish in my opinion. Here's why. If we go back in time, we are finding resistance here where we found resistance before and we went to the oversold zone. We found resistance a little bit higher and we went to the oversold zone. We found resistance here, went to the oversold zone. Here, we didn't quite go to the oversold zone, but you did go lower. Here, oversold zone. Back here, slow march down to the oversold zone. But it's since we've been basically in this drop, since we've been moving down here from our all-time high area there, we've been rejecting this area in the RSI and going to the oversold zone. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to. We are finding support here at the 40, and that's a good look, and that's part of also why I flip bullish, is because you had this bull flag along with bouncing off the 40, all good things, but the fact that you just got a breath of fresh air above the 50 and went right back below it, that doesn't encourage me. That makes me think that you could come down. Every time you bounce off this 40 is another time to break through it and to go to your oversold area. If you see something like that, I'm just going to guess, looking at this here, you went oversold, you saw lower lows, right? Here, when you went oversold, you saw lower lows. When we get oversold here, we just might see lower lows, because each time we're starting from lower highs as well. It wouldn't be crazy at all to assume that we go lower. So where are we going to go? Well, there's this little harmonic pattern at play here called the bullish butterfly. And we thought that it might have been invalidated. I'm not going to lie. This is a pretty ugly butterfly, man. Most of the time, butterflies look just like this, right? They go down to the 786. They come up here. They find resistance there. And they go down. They look like this. But this thing's got some kind of like butterfly Titus or something, I don't know, coming down like this. It's got a clipped wing, but it's still floating along. Maybe with a clipped wing you can actually still fall to the ground, is the moral of the story here. Even clipped wings drop. I don't know, man. 74K, $74,000 would be the minimum target. 69,000 would be the maximum target to the downside. And if we went lower, sure, that's fine. I mean, we can do that. That would be outside the scope of this butterfly pattern. If you're like, bullish butterfly, what's this guy talking about? Like, this guy's crazy. No, just look it up, man. It's actually a thing. Bullish butterfly harmonic pattern, right? It's a Fibonacci pattern. It's a sequence, right? Just like this, right? It's literally perfect. It literally looks just like this pattern here. You can see it says 786 retracement here, which if we go on Bitcoin from a low to a high, you went right to your 786. It's perfect, right? And then the next move up is a 382 to 886 retracement of A to B. Let me hold your hand through this real quick, okay? A to B. So this is A. B is the downward move here. This is B, and it's a 382 to a 886 retracement of that move, 382 to 886. If you look here, we're just below the 886. The 382 is here, so you did go in between your 382 to 886 area. It's perfect. It literally meets that criteria. The next area to look for would be the 1272 to the 1618 of this move. It's just normally it happens kind of in one fell swoop, one consistent effort down, but we are moving down a little bit again with like a clipped wing, and that's fine. Again, getting above 84.6K closing or 84.7K closing above there on a daily basis or a multi 4-hour basis, that might invalidate, and I would think it would invalidate this pattern. And that's fine if it does. You know, these patterns normally don't get invalidated, but sometimes they do. That doesn't mean that it invalidates the notion that we could go lower, right? Maybe inevitably we go to those targets, but I would say a move up like that, it's not a butterfly pattern anymore. It's something else. It's something weird, but it could have the same target destination nonetheless, just based off of this fib. And that's why this fib matters so much, man. 91,000 is an important level to break above. If we can get above there on a daily closing basis, above that 236. I know it's at about 94 or 90,600, but really it's at 90,800. I just say 91 to make it easier. That'd be a significant thing, along with a bunch of other things, breaking through a prior area of support, all that kind of stuff. Until then, we're bearish. I'm bearish until about 73 to 72K. It's completely possible we could go lower. It's completely possible we could stop at 74K, but I'm thinking 72 to 73 personally is where we're going to go. If we take a relative fib here from this low to this high, if this is to be respected, you've got 71.5, 71.6 to 73.2. This area is a little bit closer to what I'm expecting as well. So we'll see how it goes, but I think we're going lower, my friends. 4-hour RSI looks a little bit bearish. 1-hour RSI, it's neutral. Kind of bearish, but neutral, to be fair. And again, if we do move up from here, that doesn't mean that we're going through the roof, right? There's no reason to get too excited until we get above about 84.7K, 84.8K on a 4-hour closing basis or a higher time frame. Just because we wick up here doesn't mean anything. If we wick all the way up to 86K in 1 hour, and then we come back down and we close here, if you got excited on this wick before the candle closed, you're playing on your emotions, man, and that's not good, right? We talked about why that's not a good thing. You should not let your emotions dictate who you are. It does not make for a good trader. 83.2K now, likely going to go lower. You could go up from here first, but whatever. It's going to be a lower high. It's going to be a higher high, whatever. Unless it's above 84.7K on a closing basis, I don't care. I really don't care. We're going lower. 1-hour time frame is neutral, but with a bearish tilt, in all fairness. You have picked up a little bit of volume as you're moving down, but you haven't really gone anywhere, to be fair, as well. So that might not be too significant. The daily time frame, for looking at this, you're in a downtrend. You are in a very well-sustained downtrend, right? I hope it's obvious with the seeing eyes, all of our seeing eyeballs here, right? Lower highs, lower lows, all that kind of stuff, right? It's not the most perfect trend. I didn't just draw it like parallel, but I don't really care to make it look pretty, but you can see it's a downtrend. So until we break out of that downtrend, until we get above 86.7K, really until we get above 91K, it's not time to get excited just yet. I do think we're going lower. I got nothing else to say. So with that, I'm going to end the video. Hit the like button, you guys. Oh, wait, actually, I wanted to talk about some news real quick. We're going to talk about some news. I don't really talk about anything news-related too much, but what are we doing here? MicroStrategy. I was looking at this here, and it's not completely, it's not 100% true, you know, but it might be. MicroStrategy does have 21 billion, not 21 billion Bitcoin, Grok. Where is it? They do have 21 billion through equity offerings. They have 21 billion dollars at their disposal to sell if they want to, or to use to buy Bitcoin, right? Let's see. Hold on. MicroStrategy aggressively acquiring Bitcoin as part of its treasury strategy, notably through its 2021 plan announced in October 2024. This plan aims to raise $42 billion over 3 years, $21 billion through equity offerings, and $21 billion via fixed income securities to fund Bitcoin's purchases. The $21 billion figure you mentioned likely refers to the capital raising target rather than a single completed acquisition, right? They have a target goal to raise $21 billion to buy Bitcoin, right? And then I reposted this thing from Lark Davis. I like Lark Davis, you guys. I think he's funny. Michael Gigaball Saylor, that's totally a Lark thing that he would say, is getting ready to buy $21 billion worth of Bitcoin. And that's true, right? That's true. And maybe not all at once. Maybe all at once. I don't know, man. This guy sometimes he just lays the hammer down, honestly. He's not afraid to do that. And he doesn't do it on the exchanges. He does it, OTC. But and I mean, maybe some of it comes from the exchanges. I don't know. But with BTC currently trading around 84K, he would be able to buy 250,000 Bitcoins. And obviously, if he bought that much Bitcoins, it wouldn't be at 84K. He'd probably have less. But Saylor's massive purchase could absorb 555 days of fresh supply. The supply shock will be insane. And it might not be 555, but with the capability at this price to buy basically a year and a half's worth of Bitcoin supply, I don't know how anybody could be bearish on this thing, right? Let's get this. And when I say bearish, I mean long term. I am still long term bullish. I will until we're proven wrong, until we're in a bear market, which we're not. I will remain bullish. I very much do believe that we are still in the bull market and we are going to see prices all the way up at 500K by the end of this cycle. That's my end of cycle prediction. It has been my prediction for a good bit now. I think $500,000 is going to be where we top off by the end of the cycle. Just because I'm bearish in the short term, don't get me confused, man. I haven't sold any crypto. All my life savings, the majority of my capital is in crypto because I believe in it, and I really do. This is my third bull cycle. I think that we are going to go a lot higher. I don't think that it stops here at all. But the fact that people are bearish, that are people that are saying that the bear market's on, we're dropping to 40K. I've seen people say we're dropping to 20K again. The bear market's over. Bitcoin's dead. Stuff like that. And there's this guy who's literally going to buy probably a year's worth of the supply at some point. I don't know how you can be bearish because this is just one guy. This is just one entity here, right? There are a lot of other entities at play that want to scoop up some Bitcoin too. So he hasn't pulled the trigger yet on this $21 billion Bitcoin, right? He hasn't pulled the trigger yet on that, but I'm assuming maybe he started to, or he will begin doing so on this next drop. That's my assumptions, but we'll see how it goes. 83.4K now. Don't get too excited about the little moves up, and we probably do move lower. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.